About Cyclic Waves, which I think came out with Ableton 9. So that was quite a while back. But, you know, lately I've been really interested in sampling, chopping samples, kind of reusing them maybe in granular sense, coming up with my own loops, that kind of stuff. And so I've been kind of sorting through some of my old stuff on my hard drive looking for cool samples. And the Cyclic Waves, even though it's old, it's actually pretty polished. Sounds really nice. So I wanted to get into that, show you a little bit about what's in the pack. It's really just live clips and some samples. So there's a ton of samples in there, and there's some clips as far as I can see. There's not much more to it, so it's really for sampling. It's really for having a collection of samples, but there's a lot in there. There's sound effects, there's instrumental hits, so there's like melodic and harmonic stuff, and then tons of beats, obviously. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and it's just really worth looking at. I've been getting a lot out of it, so I thought, well, let's talk about that. All right, so let's just go over to my software here and check out a little bit about this. So I'm gonna go in over here and right click. I'm gonna say show default list, and this will usually open up something over here on the right hand window. Well, does it? Show, there it is. So I like I always like to come here and just see what they have to say. There's not actually a lot about this, so we'll also check out the web page. But let's just see what they do say. Premium selection from the Cycles series that utilizes Cycling 74's Max software. Includes drum loops, acoustic instrument hits, lush ambiances, and more for inspiring sonic sculpting. And I really find it pretty inspiring. I really do like it. It has all those things. I think Cycling 74's Max software is basically Max for Live, so this goes back to the point where, you know, it was like a different endeavor. It wasn't so closely integrated into Ableton, but that doesn't matter too much anyway. We're really looking at samples here. So let's take a look at what we got here in this collection. Okay, so I opened up Cyclic Waves. This is under my packs. So we got some loops, right? And I think these are all clips, and then sliced loops as well. And then we've got some samples actually organized kind of into here. Let me make sure I've got audio coming through here. I should. All right, so I am hearing that, but not hearing it in the software. Let me check out my routing here. Sometimes my audio gets disconnected, so let me just take a second to check that. It'll come up here in just a second here. It takes sometimes restarting these things, you know. There we go. Now we got it. All right. So I'm going to bring down the volume on that a little bit. Coolio. So we're back here checking out the software, and just like so much variety, right? So let's just take this for example, because, you know, I mean, these are like totally original samples. So let's say I would grab that, and I'm going to go ahead, just to keep track of it, I'm going to go and tag it so I can easily find it again. And I'm going to load up something we discussed in this live stream back a little while ago, which was actually under the pack, inspired by nature down here, and they have an instrument that is basically a grain sampler, grain synthesizer kind of thing, but based on some vector physics. So if I took this crazy thing and I drag it in down here to this vector grain, I'm going to get some really interesting sounds. Right, so now I'm just kind of playing my push. Right, and I don't think I get a lot of control over some of the elements that I'm used to seeing, but if I were to go, say, to a different MIDI track, I'm going to add just a straight up simpler, right? And then I'm going to browse to find my sample, go down to packs, and what pack were we on here? Cyclic Waves, that's right. And I'm going to go into, I think this thing was called, let me see where in my software I had found that it was called High Stakes. So I can go into my packs, go into Cyclic Waves, and I'm going to just type in High Stakes. And that'll just kind of help me quickly figure this out. Right, so that was in Momentary Incursions is the samples collection. So I'm going to go down here, back on my push, down to Momentary Incursions, find this High Stakes, right, load that into my simpler. And so now I could turn this into slicing mode. Transients is fine, but sorry, my head's in the way there, the push. So I just love being able to load samples in that sound cool. And what I had been doing before with vector grain, I just love vector grain. I love the effect of grain synthesis and grain samplers. But let's check out some more of these. These sounds, because I think they're just so awesome. I'm going to go ahead, add another MIDI track, and let's just browse around and listen to these in Cyclic Waves, because there's just so many cool incidental gestures. So there's like an alto sax. Totally atmospheric, right? Rhythmic and interesting. Kind of cinematic, that is. So I'm just kind of going through a selection of these sounds. You know, some of these sounds would be really great. You just load them in on a clip on your session view in an audio track, and you just play them as is. But also they're really well suited to chopping up and turning into drum racks, just slicing them up in sampler or whatever. Sound effects and yeah, you could use that as like a riser, even some kind of sweep on that. There's the one I liked. Very cinematic kind of Arcus style sound. And there's loads and loads of this stuff. I mean, gosh, how much stuff is there? There's a ton. Water attack. So cool. Let's just load that up and take a look at the wave. Right, slice it up. And then you can take elements of this. You could make a drum rack, just reverse it, turn some of these hits into, just slice it, reverse it. When you're in sampler or simpler like this, and, like maybe you take start and end, take, I'm going to just take this first hit here so you can see. I want to try and make it so you can see it on the screen there. So I'm going to take this hit here, and then I'm going to crop it. So now I just have, you can see in the software down in simpler, that's all there is, just that one sound, right? And then you can even drag these, from when they're in, you can drag these into an audio clip as well if you wanted to. I thought there was maybe I'm getting my signals crossed, but I thought there was a way to actually drag them out from here, but I guess not. So if I were to load this into an audio clip up here, right? So it's just an audio clip on an audio track, and I can go in here to that track, go to the clip, and from here I don't really want to change that. Let me go back here. What I want to do is just extract a small portion of this out like that, right? I'm going to take it off loop and don't want my loop going all the way out there, so I just got this little bit, right? And I'm going to go ahead and crop that clip, and then I'm going to go ahead and reverse it as well. So a little distracted today, so I'm sorry about that. But where is reverse? I'm just totally on my brain's a little fried today from other things that I've been trying to focus on, but I don't really want to waste time on this too much. It's the simplest thing, and I'm just kind of flipping out here, but I'm getting off track anyway, because I'm kind of going down the path I usually go down, which is I find something, I think, gosh, that's exactly the sound I was looking for at some point in time, and then I want to figure out how to turn it into something musical, turn it into a sample-based instrument. In this case, just like crop a little clip, reverse it, and use it as a maybe stretch it out, put some reverb on it, use it as a transition, a riser, or a sweep, put an EQ sweep, like an auto filter sweep on it. These are just kind of ideas that immediately enter my mind when I hear a sound that I like. And I found myself thinking that a lot with this pack Cyclic Waves. It's got so many sounds in it. It's got so much variety and texture. It's just really useful. I think there would have been many, many, many times when I would have been able to use this in my productions over the last, certainly since I got Ableton 9 years and years ago. So I just wanted to talk about it here on the live stream, share it, and kind of point it out. Probably some of y'all are already using it all the time, in which case, you know, you're like, yeah, this is old news. This is a great pack, but I haven't really been using it. So it's a discovery for me. If it's a discovery for you, I definitely recommend checking it out. So I'm going to do my very best to be here on Wednesday. Last week, I had to head out of town, so I missed a couple of the live streams. I am also hard at work on putting together some trainings and workshop style live streams. Hopefully, I'm trying to figure out some of the details about getting interaction between folks on that kind of setup. So stick around for the regular live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'll have a new pack for you in a couple days. And I hope you're doing good. Post questions, packs you're interested in the comments, and I'll see you another time. Bye.